I was on YouTube doing my research as I do each week, looking for new multi-tools when I ran across Witty's reviews and he was reviewing this multi-tool. Now, I definitely recommend you going over to Witty's gear reviews, and I'll try to leave a link below. This is where I first saw this tool. This is the Maratac SAR-16 Field Deploy Multi-Tool Knife with Sheath by Maratac from County Com. Now, I hadn't seen this before. This is definitely a take on a tool that we have seen, actually two tools we've seen before on this channel, and I'll talk about that in a couple minutes. But first of all, I want to talk about why this is special and why you might want one. So let's go ahead and jump in. Now, let's review some of these features. Let's start with the outside. On the outside, you've got a lot of these little like Allen wrenches. This one right here is a micro Phillips and a flat driver like for your eyeglasses. I will use this to see if I can get this other tool out of the handle. All right, so I've turned on another light. We got some more light on this subject. These are magnetic, as you can see, and then these fit here. So this one is this is Torx on the one end and hex on the other for some of the small tasks you might need to use. These definitely could come in handy. On the end is the ferrule rod and the whistle. Let's try out the whistle. Might be a little loud. I don't know. I feel like it's not a super great whistle, but in a pinch, could help. You could be heard a little bit louder than normal, I suppose. Now on the outside, you've got a lot of bits. They call this a standard bit set. Flathead, number 3, number 5, Phillips, PH1, PH2, Torx, T15, and hex H2.5. And on the other side, they say that's the magnetically secure, removable, ultra small Phillips, flathead, Torx, hex drivers. Now, when we go to more of the internal tools, one of the first things you find is this driver. We have seen this before, and yes, unfortunately, this is a 5mm bit driver. But don't yell and run away, because there are some pretty cool things about this tool. And one of the cool things is this is actually like topographically etched. These are 440C black oxide tools according to their listing, and this whole tool is only $30. So I think that's pretty neat that they did try to upgrade the steel a little bit, and that also they did all this etching. And that's not the only tool that is etched. Definitely looks a little nicer. Try another bit. Yeah, it locks into place. I really like the orange on the outside with the handles. Now, it doesn't say that this orange textured handle is G10. It says it's high grip textured nylon reinforced fiberglass shell, whatever that means. All right, talked about the bit driver. Let's go ahead and look at the other side and look at this. This is another texture topographical tool. This is your all-in-one tool, can opener, and then a rope cutter here at the bottom. It looks actually pretty sharp. Let's try it against paracord. I don't know. Some of these work good. Usually these rope cutters don't work that good, but we'll see. Actually, yeah, it didn't work that bad. So when you slide it along there and then cut it, that actually worked better than usual. Now, it does look like you have almost like a screwdriver tab at the end. This also locks in place. Now, opening this up, I'm trying to figure out, I think that's most of the tools on this side. I think it's just these two, because a lot of that space, well, there is this at the end. So this is like a pry tool, and then your bottle opener, I guess, and then where you can attach this to your lanyard. Yeah, a little different there. All right, on the opposite side, take a look at that. That is pretty neat, this etched saw. And then even the knife is etched. Now, I know some of you might say, hey, that's ridiculous. You just need a tool, but I think some of you will appreciate that they did take a little bit extra care on making these tools. Now, this one right here, unfortunately, if it extended just a little bit more, that knife actually feels fairly smooth, but the thumb stud rather, is too far down. So it doesn't extend enough, but you can buy longer thumb studs. You can extend the hardware. I might actually end up doing that on mine, is actually just extend that hardware a little bit. To me, I think it'd be worth it to stick above just a little bit so you could potentially really easily open this. Yeah, once you get used to this, it is, there we go. Yeah, it's a little bit easier as you use it. Now, at the beginning, I said this isn't the only tool that's made this way, and this is the Duratec here at the bottom from Amazon. On the outside, it looks like the exact same tool. It's really hard to see a lot of differences. Obviously, this has the topographical etching on it. It's not really engraving because it's not into the metal, but it has the etching on the outside, and then it has the orange handle, so there are some differences there, but pretty much everything looks the same until you look at the knife. Now, the knife has changed some, and then the materials, I believe, have changed fairly radically as well to some extent. I think this is just made out of better materials, but most everything else is the same. This is $15, this is $30, so this is half the price. If you are in love with this tool, you can buy 2 of these for the price of this one on Amazon. This is the Duratec. I will leave links to all these below. This has the whistle, the ferrule rod, pretty much the same tool complement. Again, the blade will be different, but most everything else is the same on this tool, except I don't think the tools are made quite as well. Now, one of the tools that is also very similar actually was reviewed by a very loyal watcher of this channel, Adenir. He's usually one of the first ones on the live chat when the video is released. Make sure to go to his channel. I will try to leave a link below where he reviews the pistol multi-tool by Real Avid. And as you can see, this one here, this is the same one that he's reviewed. This has a lot of similarities. It's got these tools on the outside, it's got these bits, and then we have pretty much the same bit driver. When we use these bits from this one, they are the same pretty much as, yeah, that one. So these are swappable. You can interchange, use these. All right, so here is the sheath that it comes with. It has the snap button closure. This fits in here. It is a little bit loose, a little wobbly. It's not really an exact fit. And the belt loop does seem flimsy. I'm not a huge fan of this sheath, but it does come included, which some people will probably say, hey, even Leatherman doesn't do that anymore. It does come with the sheath. All right, so now we come to the part of the video where we've got to talk about some negatives. The negatives are that these are 5mm bits. These are not 1/4 inch. These are not 4mm. These are 5mm bits. Now, one of the great things is that from Decoyu, you can actually get the adapter. So this is the adapter from the Decoyu, 5mm to 1/4 inch, and then you can use your 1/4 inch bits in here. Let's just use this one as an example. There we go. So now you can use pretty much all the bits there are. You can obviously use the 1/4 inch to 4mm adapter and use 4mm bits. That pretty much fixes the problem. Now, this is a little bit, it's not really deep enough for this ball detent to work in this driver. So if I was using this, I would probably cut this down with my bench grinder until I would get low enough in the bit where I could get that more solid fill with the ball detent. That's what I would personally do. But there are workarounds for this tool, but I think that's one of the biggest negatives. Unfortunately, it is 4 or 5mm with the bits. All right, so let's go ahead and weigh this. I think that's maybe one of the other things. It is a little bit more of a chunkier tool. This will pretty much weigh the same as the Leatherman Wave. and you have no pliers. 253 grams, it is a little bit of a heavier tool. Let me know what you guys think. I think this is an interesting take where we are seeing, as I have mentioned over and over, companies taking a design, this basic design, then saying, hey, we'll make the handles a little bit nicer, we'll go ahead and add some etching on the tools, and then we'll make them out of better steel, or I assume it's better steel than this right here. That is, it seems like what's going on. Let me know if you think that's a good trend. If you want to see that continue to happen, let me know your thoughts.